Now at 6, Donald Trump is the first former president to be a convicted felon.
A jury of 12 men and women finding Trump guilty of all 34 counts of falsifying business records to conceal a sex scandal.
The only voice that matters is the voice of the jury, and the jury has spoken.
This was a rigged, disgraceful trial.
Reaction pouring in from across the country.
Guilty! Guilty! Guilty!
I'm extremely happy. I feel like this is a great day for America.
This is political prosecution.
Including right here in South Florida.
Yeah, Trump, Trump, Trump.
It made me feel like, hey, we better start fighting.
We've got you covered on all angles. Jared Hill is outside Trump Tower.
Jim DeFede on how Trump's conviction impacts the presidential election. Also joining us live, Florida Congressman Carlos Jimenez and former Assistant Broward State Attorney Maria Schneider.
Live team coverage of Trump's guilty verdict right here on CBS News Miami Morning Edition.
We have a comprehensive lineup. So check this out. The historic conviction of Donald Trump is front page news this morning. This is a look at the New York Times right after it was printed. The headline is very simple. You saw it right there, guilty. Now, it is a similar headline all across the country, from the Washington Post to the USA Today paper and Wall Street Journal as well. The former president, now ruled a convicted felon, is no doubt the lead story today. And right here in Florida, it is no different. Here is the front page of the Miami Herald. Take a look right now, and this is something that we're seeing play out all across the country. And, you know, there's really not much more to say because that is the headline, guilty. So let's get over to CBS News Miami's Jared Hill. He is live in New York for us.
So we're expecting Mr. Trump to speak a little bit later, in just a couple of hours from now, actually.
Yeah, that's right, Keith and Betty. And actually, I've been talking to some of our sister stations across the pond in Britain about this as well. So this is really a global story. Later on today, we're expecting for former President Trump to speak here at Trump Tower after this historic conviction. Former President Donald Trump, now a convicted felon, is vowing to appeal.
I'm a very innocent man. We'll keep fighting. We'll fight till the end.
Trump was convicted on all 34 counts of falsifying business records to hide reimbursements to former fixer Michael Cohen, who paid adult film star Stormy Daniels $130,000 in the run-up to the 2016 election. That money to keep quiet about an alleged sexual encounter with Trump. It took the 12 jurors 11 hours to reach a verdict.
The only voice that matters is the voice of the jury, and the jury has spoken.
In a statement, attorneys for Michael Cohen called the verdict a testament to his credibility, that credibility attacked by Trump lawyer Todd Blanche during the trial and again last night on CNN.
They looked past what we thought were fatal flaws in Mr. Cohen's story and his past, and they reached a guilty verdict.
With the fight out of the courtroom for now, former President Trump turned to politics, attending a fundraiser last night after his guilty verdict. This conviction putting an unprecedented spin on the presidential election.
The real verdict is going to be November 5th by the people.
The Trump campaign almost immediately pushed fundraising messages, claiming he's a political prisoner. President Biden's campaign also fundraising with a message: there is still only one way to keep Donald Trump out of the Oval Office, at the ballot box. Trump's sentencing is scheduled for July 11th, just 4 days before the Republican National Convention. All right, so let's talk about possible penalties here. Former President Trump could face fines. He also could face everything from probation to jail time. We're talking 4 years for each one of these 34 counts. Now, legal experts have been saying that it probably would not get to the point of jail time. But again, we just don't know. Back to you.
Wait and see how that plays out. Jared, thank you. Meanwhile, Trump's guilty verdict elicited passionate reaction on both sides of the political spectrum, especially right here in Florida.
Yeah, this was the scene after the verdict was announced, not far from Trump's Mar-a-Lago home.
It made me feel like, hey, we better start fighting because this is a day that will go down in history.
I'm pleased with the outcome of it. 6 bankruptcies, 4 indictments, 90-something counts of indictment. I could go on and on. I mean, he's a terrible person.
Counter-protesters also gathered outside of Versailles' Cuban restaurant. And reaction from people in the Coconut Grove, a little more tempered.
What does that say? What does that say for our future? What does that say to our children? What does this mean for the world we live in?
I do think overall and collectively, there are bigger fish to fry out there, and especially in the midst of a campaign season.
Let's get over to the alert desk now. Austin, reaction from politicians just pouring in.
Yeah, I've been glued to X, formerly known as Twitter, looking through some of that reaction here, and much of it is coming from Florida Republicans who were quick to react to all of this. Here is a tweet from Representative Matt Gaetz. He says the verdict is the corrupt result of a corrupt trial, a corrupt judge, and a corrupt DA. Sade, let's take this full. I'm going to cycle through some of the tweets that we're seeing, not only from this representative, but we're also hearing from Mario Diaz-Balart. He says the case against former President Trump is an obvious and blatant travesty of justice, and he's calling it a political witch hunt. The governor saying that the verdict represents the culmination of a legal process that has been bent to the political will of the actors involved. Now, we're also hearing from the other side, Representative Frederica Wilson, she's a local here, saying no one is above the law, including the 4-time indicted, twice impeached, and now convicted felon President Trump, and saying there was no witch hunt. We'll send it back to you.
All right, Austin, thank you. Join us live now this morning to discuss all of this. Republican Representative Carlos Jimenez. Congressman, thank you so much for waking up with us. We appreciate it. Off the top here, your reaction. Are you surprised given the landscape of where this took place?
Absolutely not. Look, you have a DA that ran on a platform and says, I'm going to get Donald Trump. I find that to be outrageous, to be honest with you. You shouldn't run to be a prosecutor saying, I'm going to get that person over there, and then do all sorts of contortions to stretch misdemeanors into felonies, when in fact, the supposed felonies don't even fall under your jurisdiction, and those entities that it does fall under their jurisdiction refuse to prosecute. And so this was contorted. Nobody's ever been charged like this, ever, even in New York. And so to go after the leading presidential candidate of the Democrat Party by a Democrat operatives is really a bad sign for the country. Look, this is stuff that they do in Venezuela, stuff they do in Nicaragua. Nicolas Maduro just jailed his prime opponent for the presidential election, and also Ortega jailed 7 of his opponents so that he could win the presidential election. Look, this is really bad.
Congressman, I got to jump in real quick because this was tried by a jury, so we have to keep that into account here. But here's the question right now. Going forward, was there any reversible error that could lead to a true appeal?
Oh, heck yeah. There's a ton of reversible errors. For one, there is some novel theory that this judge said that, look, you 12, there's 3 things that you can find him guilty of. Now, you all don't have to find him guilty of any one of them, but if you all 12 think that he's guilty of one of these, then you can go ahead and stretch this into a guilty verdict. I mean, the instructions were unbelievable. And one of those, by the way, was a violation of federal campaign law, and he denied the defense the ability to bring a federal campaign expert to testify for the defense. And so, look, this is just not right, all right? This is just half of the people in this country think that this is a political witch hunt. Half the people are really happy because they don't like Donald Trump. Look, it's not about liking Donald Trump or disliking Donald Trump. It's just wrong, and it should have never happened. And it happens in New York, in Manhattan, where I think Donald Trump got, what, 3%, 4% of the vote. You've got a DA that ran on the platform of getting Donald Trump. Right. Then you have a judge who's a Biden donor, whose daughter happens to make millions of dollars off the Democrat campaign. This is wrong on so many levels.
So much at play.
And finally, this is all novel. Nobody's ever been charged like this in the history of the United States.
Yeah, Congressman, we'd love to talk to you more, but unfortunately we're out of time. We do thank you for joining us today, and of course we'd like to continue this conversation at another time on this show, so thank you very much.
And of course, stick with CBS News Miami for continuing coverage of the guilty verdict. We're going to have live analysis from Jim DeFede here and former Broward Assistant State Attorney Maria Schneider. That is all straight ahead.